Hey guys! Welcome back to Architutors. In this SketchUp tutorial, we will walk you through the process of how to model a house in SketchUp 2024. We're going to be designing a sleek modern farmhouse using SketchUp. Whether you're an architecture student or a professional, these steps will help you create a stunning 3D model in SketchUp. So let's begin. We're using SketchUp 2024 and you can find a link to download SketchUp in video description. In this SketchUp file, we already have a house plan imported, as you can see from the Outliner tab. There's a default SketchUp component at the origin, and then there's an AutoCAD drawing. You can find a link in the video description to download this SketchUp file with the AutoCAD plan so you can practice 3D modeling along with this tutorial. First, I'm going to click on View tab, Edge Style, and disable the profiles. I like to keep only the edges on while modeling. We can turn on or off necessary toolbars from the Toolbars option. I'm going to turn the Views option on. In the default tray, we have the option of styles that we can also change. Let's click on Default Styles and choose a style from the list. Again, let's keep the profiles turned off. As you see, in the AutoCAD drawing, we have two floors, ground floor and first floor. Let's start SketchUp modeling by creating walls first. Select the Rectangle tool and draw a rectangle over the wall to create a surface. We can extrude surface by using the Push and Pull tool in SketchUp. Select the Push and Pull tool and click on the surface. You can enter dimension or the value for height for this surface and hit Enter. We can simply use the Push and Pull tool to continue or to extend this wall. If we press Ctrl key, it will create a division within the volume with a surface and then continue to extrude the surface. That's the technique we can use to easily create walls and mark a division wherever windows or doors are coming. If you're keen in watching more of such videos and upcoming tutorials on SketchUp and Lumion, then make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon for all the latest updates. Your viewership means awful a lot to us. Second simple way to create walls in SketchUp would be to use the Rectangle tool to create surfaces and later extrude them using Push and Pull tool. We're going to create just the external walls for this project. Let's create rest of the walls for this floor. For this project, I want some windows till the bottom of beam level and some at full clear height. Before we add windows, second step in this SketchUp tutorial is to create opening for windows and door. We're going to use the tape measure, rectangle, and push-pull tools to create openings. We can create guidelines using tape tool. Select tape tool and click on an edge and define the distance from the edge. We can use rectangle or line tool referring to this guideline and create an opening for window. Use push and pull tool and intrude the surface inside till the back surface. Let's do that to all windows. To create beam level, we can use tape to create guideline. Then use line tool to complete a rectangle and extrude it using push and pull tool. Use line tool to create division on surface where window is coming. Now that we have created walls and openings for door and windows, we can make a group of this geometry. Simply select all geometry, right-click and click on Make Group. Group your geometry frequently to avoid accidental sticking and make editing easier. Think of it as organizing your virtual construction site. Now let's create a window over here. It's going to be a multi-paneled sliding window, but we're going to create a simple model of it. First, create a rectangle. I'm going to apply a metal material on it from the default tray option. This material will be for the frame of the window. Next, use the offset tool to create offset of the surface, basically the frame of window. Now to create mullions for the window, we can copy a line. Use Move tool and hold the Control key to copy objects. Move it along an axis and define distance. Now use the Push and Pull tool to define depth to the frame by extruding the surface. Do the same from the back. And then we can apply a glass material on the window surface. Triple-click to select the entire geometry and turn it into group. Select the Move option and press the Control key to copy the object selected. We can copy the same window object and make alteration to it. Select the part where we want to stretch the object and use the Move tool to stretch the object from that side. We can change the color of the texture or apply a texture from an image in the Materials option. Let's copy this object to all places where windows are coming. Use the Rotate tool and use the arrow key to change axis of rotation. Again, make the selection of the mullion that you can move using the Move tool. Let's create the beam on the top by extruding the surface. On the other side, we are having smaller single-paneled windows. To create, simply draw a rectangle. Assign a material onto the surface. Offset the surface. And intrude to have separate frame and window surface. Assign glass texture to the surface and make this object into a group. Now, to create a door in this SketchUp model, draw a rectangular surface. Let's assign a wooden texture to it. Offset the surface to create the frame for the door. Then intrude the surface using Push and Pull tool. We have walls and all windows for this floor. And we can create the plinth level or plinth surface for this floor. Use the rectangle tool to create the surface and extrude it. We have walls on the external porch side as well, so use the rectangle tool and push tool to create them. Let's also create steps on this porch area. And to do that, we can select the edge and copy it using the Move tool and holding the Control key. Then use the Push tool to intrude the surface. Now we can start working on the first floor. Again, as we did earlier, use the rectangle shape tool and push tool to extrude the surface to create walls. Extrude using Push and Pull tool and press Control key to extend and copy the surface from one point to another. Now that we have created all the walls for this floor in SketchUp, we can create openings by using Tape tool and then separating the surface using Line or Rectangle tool. and then intrude the surface to cut the opening. Select all the geometry and create group. You will find the option to delete all guideline you created using Tape tool under Edit tab. Then we can copy and add windows for this floor as well. After adding all windows, we can now create floor or the slab for this floor by creating outline of the floor using Line tool. Use Push and Pull tool to extrude the slab surface. Create this into a group. Let's take this floor and move it over the ground floor model. Also, move the drawing above the floor for reference. We're done with the basic model and it's time to add some nice details to it. First, of course, create a roof surface for the model. Use the line tool to sketch the surface for the roof. Extrude the surface using the push tool and make it a group. To create railing, we can create a reference line for the height of the railing. And then create a rectangular surface. Do it on all sides to complete railing. Assign a glass material to it as well. I want to have some louvers on this side of the window. Before we do then, let's chamfer the slab surface on this side. Use the rectangle tool and specify dimensions. Use push tool to extrude the surface. And this time, convert it into a component, which means that if I create identical copies of it, I would only have to change one to change all. Let's add a texture to it. Now copy it and create a group for these louvers. To create multiple copies, type a number and add a star symbol next to it, and hit Enter. Since all these elements are copy of one component, if I try and edit one, the change will be implemented to all its copies. Let's copy these louvers to the other side as well. Use Rotate tool to rotate object around an axis. Use the Scale tool to scale an object from any axis. In this case, I'm going to create a cut from the slab level and extend louver geometry till that level. Again, make multiple copies to create louvers over all of this surface. Let's copy the louvers on the front side as well. In a group or a component, you will find 4 points in its 4 sides that you can use to move or rotate a component. Let's give the surfaces different materials to make it look better. Depending on how you're going to render a project, you can assign materials accordingly. If you're going to use V-Ray for rendering, you can use V-Ray materials. If you're going to use an external engine for rendering like Lumion, you need to apply different surfaces with different textures so they can be easily altered later. One more important thing before we finish with 3D modeling in SketchUp is to create surroundings. We can create a parking or a pavement. Let's also create steps in front of this model. And last would be to create a topography surface or a ground surface. Now we're almost done with 3D modeling. Hide the AutoCAD plan. We can try and change the field of view value to take interesting shots. Let's turn shadows on and see how it looks. Now that we have learned how to model a 3D farmhouse in SketchUp, we can also go ahead and add more details, whether it's exterior or interior modeling. We have added staircase, ceiling, curtains, and lights along with other details. I hope you had learned some new techniques through our SketchUp 2024 modeling tutorial. You can check out more such tutorials from our SketchUp tutorial playlist. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for more upcoming videos on modeling and rendering. Thanks for watching. See you next time.